Hey, it's Mike Chen. They're dangerous, infamous, and you would not want to mess with them. The underworld of crime is both dark and curious, and when it comes to their personalities and hierarchy, gangs give the underworld a semblance of order amid the chaos, and their hierarchy gives their underground society some structure complete with rules and rites of passage that, when disturbed, could be absolutely disastrous for any individual. So today, we're gonna go behind that secret door, down that dark alley, and count down to 10 of the world's most dangerous gangs. Now, this list is not for the faint-hearted, so turn back now if you wish, because once you're in, you can never get out. Number 10, the Sinaloa Cartel. One of the most powerful drug cartels in Mexico, the Sinaloa Cartel is also one of the most active and the most prolific cartels in the world. Led by Joaquin Guzman Loera, infamously known as El Chapo, a man who was named one of the most powerful people in the world by Forbes magazine. The cartel has created an image that people will tell horror stories about. From smuggling billions of dollars worth of drugs in the US in exchange for information on other cartels to commit vicious murders and posting it online. It's no wonder that they're still one of the deadliest groups despite El Chapo being behind bars. Number 9, Los Zetas. Also based in Mexico, Los Zetas is said to be the Sinaloa Cartel's main rival in the Mexican drug war, and their clashes against each other always leaves devastating violence and blood in their wake. Formed by a group that splintered from the Mexican elite special forces and entered the lucrative drug trade in Latin America, Los Zetas started off as the hired muscle of the Gulf Cartel, eventually working their way up and cementing their global reputation in the drug trade. Although there are no exact figures and data available, both the media and the drug enforcement agencies consider the Los Zetas to be the most powerful, dangerous, and lucrative drug cartel operating in Mexico. Coming in next are two of the largest gangs in the United States. The Crips is a well-established gang that was started by a handful of teenagers in the 60s, being one of the largest gangs in the world and is known by their signature use of the color blue. However, after a number of years, a small group split from the Crips, spawning a violent rivalry that continues on to this day and became the gang known as the Bloods. While it is said that the Crips outnumber Bloods 3-1, there is still no doubting that their criminal activities have been considered by the US government as a dangerous threat to peace and order. Number 7, the Hells Angels. While they promote themselves as law-abiding motorcycle enthusiasts, they have been classified by law enforcement as the most powerful of the big 4 motorcycle gangs across North America. Having at least 27 chapters across the globe, the Hells Angels have been reported to be involved heavily with drug trafficking, drug dealing, extortion, and prostitution, despite having legitimate businesses operating throughout North America. This Harley-Davidson riding gang is quickly identifiable by their winged death's head logos sewn on the back of their leather vests and jackets. Number 6, Solntsevskaya Bratva. Also known as the Solntsevskaya Brotherhood, this group is considered to be the largest faction of the Russian mob. Shrouded in mystery, there is no actual definitive information on the group, but is said to have been founded by Sergei Mikhailov, a man who fashions himself more as a businessman rather than a mafioso. It is believed that the group has control over hundreds of legitimate businesses across the globe. However, it is alleged that the Solntsevskaya have no apprehension in using violence and murder to advance their business interests. And beneath the veil, of course, is their involvement in every aspect of the Russian underworld, from racketeering and extortion to human trafficking and illegal arms dealing, spanning all the major cities of Russia and the US. Number 5, the Aryan Brotherhood. The Aryan Brotherhood is mostly a prison gang, but that does not mean that they are not as dangerous as the other ones on this list. Dubbed as the most violent extremist group in the United States by the Anti-Defamation League in 1964, the Aryan Brotherhood has ever since become more and more notorious for their identity. Being responsible for a quarter of prison murders in the US, the group's distinct initiation of blood in, blood out for its new members requires an individual to assault or kill a fellow inmate. Also, if a member wants to tap out and leave the Aryan Brotherhood, chances are he himself would end up in the hospital or even worse, dead. Also, as their namesake would suggest, members of the group can easily be identified by Nazi and satanic influenced tattoos. Number 4, the MS-13. MS-13 is the most dangerous gang in the United States and Central America. Originating from El Salvador and created by immigrants escaping civil war in their country in the 80s, the MS-13 has grown exponentially throughout the US, Central America, and Mexico. While authorities believe believe that MS-13 does not operate with any form of central leadership, the FBI has indicated that they are the most violent and dangerous gang operating within the borders of the United States that would go to great lengths to use brutal violence to reach their goals. Number 3, the 14K Triad. Based in Hong Kong and active across the globe, the 14K Triad is a 25,000 strong group that are split into about 30 subgroups. They're mainly responsible for large-scale international drug trafficking of heroin and opium from China and other regions in Southeast Asia. While the drug trade is what primarily generates their income, the 14K has also been known for loan sharking, money laundering, human trafficking, and arms trafficking. Compared to other Triad societies, what separates the 14K is that this group appeared to be more loosely connected, which makes them even more dangerous since there is no central leadership or dragon head to control them. Number 2, the Yakuza. One of the oldest organizations that have existed, the Yakuza is a group that spanned centuries since the feudal age of Japan. With a large presence in Japan, they also operate internationally with an estimated number of 102,000 who follow strict codes of conduct that has been set since feudal Japan. The Yakuza are seen as a semi-legitimate organization that involves themselves in legitimate businesses and even civic duties like mobilizing itself to provide disaster relief during the Kobe earthquake. But don't let their charitable side fool you. They have been involved in underground activities such as human trafficking and collecting protection fees. Also, criminal activities really vary among syndicates. A syndicate like the Yamaguchi Gumi strictly forbid its members from getting involved in drug trafficking, while the Dojinkai, a different Yakuza syndicate, are heavily engaged in it. It is because of this that makes it difficult to pinpoint which activities actually involve a Yakuza syndicate, and if so, which one. And finally, number 1, the Italian Mafia. What organization has been more romanticized by pop culture and media, turning its members into popular anti-heroes than the Mafia? And whatever you may call them, the Cosa Nostra or the mob, the Mafia is definitely one of the most dangerous organizations in the world. Their history is difficult to trace, and how they started is a matter of debate, but what can be agreed on is that they came directly into the limelight during the migration of Italian immigrants into the US to look for a better life. Also, what is known is that the American Mafia is an offshoot of the Sicilian Mafia. Incidentally, neither the American nor the Sicilian organizations used the term Mafia. From low-level racketeering and loan sharking to illegal gambling and drug trafficking, the Cosa Nostra is a highly influential organization with supposed connections in law enforcement and politics. Though their presence in the 21st century has seemingly disappeared since the death of John Gotti, it cannot be argued that they are still operating secretly and silently. So there you go, guys. Those are some of the most dangerous criminal organizations in the world. Let me know which one scares you the most. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you later.